The Wall Street Journal editorial board is warning President Trump that bringing out the military to confront the most violent protesters could backfire. Here's what's written. U.S. soldiers are trained for combat against a foreign enemy, not for riot control against Americans. The risk of mistakes would be high, and Mr. Trump would be blamed for any bloodshed from civilian clashes with troops. Joining me now, Republican Senator Ted Cruz, member of the Senate Judiciary and Foreign Relations Committees. Senator Cruz, great to have you on the program. Thank you.
Harris, great to be with you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. What is your reaction to what was written in the editorial board there?
Well, I think there are a lot of people who are second-guessing the president, second-guessing our leadership. Now is a time for strong leadership. Rioting should not be tolerated. It cannot be allowed, and we need strong leadership from the president, from the attorney general, from governors, from mayors, from police chiefs. Every American has a right to speak and to peaceably express your freedom of speech. What you don't have a right to do is engage in violent rioting. What you don't have a right to do is loot. What you don't have a right to do is light police cars on fire and attack your fellow citizens. And we need law enforcement to be unequivocal that if you do that, you will be arrested, you will be prosecuted, and you will spend a very long time in jail. And we also need systematic law enforcement targeting Antifa and other terrorist groups that are organizing, that are providing assistance. This is a terrorist assault on our country, and rioting cannot be tolerated. It needs to end, and it needs to end now.
Senator, what would your reaction be? And I only say this because some leaders are facing this in their states, that the thought of sending the military into their state, governor saying no, Cuomo says thanks but no thanks in New York. What would your reaction be if the president were to want to send the military into your great state of Texas?
Listen, the military has been called up a number of times to defend this nation. The natural route is to use the National Guard, and that is appropriate. If necessary, the military should be used, and there's a long tradition of that. But, what you're seeing, Democratic mayors and politicians, is they're playing politics. You're seeing a whole lot of Democrats and, sadly, even some Republicans attacking the president yesterday for going to St. John's Church. I'm glad the president went to St. John's Church. That's an historic church in our nation's capital city that arsonists and vandals had firebombed, and it was strong and powerful for the president to go there and say, we will not be cowed. And isn't it interesting, Harris, that all of these authoritarian Democratic local leaders who were eager to send in law enforcement to arrest people at churches or to try to target a dad playing softball with his 6-year-old daughter, suddenly, when it comes to violent protesters, looting, robbing, breaking windows, stealing, burning police cars, suddenly these Democratic elected office holders, too many of them are deciding it's bad politics to enforce the law. Every one of them needs to protect our American cities, our American people. What's happening here is wrong, and there are a lot of Democratic politicians, including the city councilman in Minneapolis, who tweeted that he supported Antifa. Antifa is literally burning his city, and stop playing politics with people's lives.
While you're speaking, I know you would want me to point this out. You cannot see what's playing out very large on the screen next to you, Senator, but there is an enormous protest going outside of a federal courthouse right now in Lower Manhattan, and it is peaceful. People are seated. A couple people I see kneeling, quiet. Many people in masks. We are still in the midst of a coronavirus pandemic as I cover this breaking news image. I'm also joined by Senator Ted Cruz of the great state of Texas. So, Senator, I just wanted to pause for just a moment and acknowledge the contrast to what we have seen when the lights go out in many of our cities. It's tough at night. And not saying that that's the reason why it's happening, but this is a contrast. This is democracy. This is people protesting peacefully. I'm going to scoot to the next topic with you, Senator, while I still have time with you. Former Acting Attorney General Rod Rosenstein is set to face tough questioning tomorrow as the first witness in the Senate Judiciary Committee's investigation. I know you're looking into the origins of the Russia probe. Rosenstein appointed Robert Mueller as a special counsel in 2017 and wrote that memo outlining the scope of Bob Mueller's investigation, which he later then expanded. What are you looking for when you talk Rosenstein?
Well, we're looking for the truth as to what happened, the documents and facts that have broken in recent weeks about the degree to which the Obama administration directly targeted the FBI and the intelligence agencies to go after President Trump and his campaign team, and the degree to which it came from the very, very top. We now know on January 5th, both President Barack Obama and Vice President Joe Biden were directly involved in targeting General Michael Flynn in a political persecution that I think was an abuse of law enforcement and a politicization. And that was memorialized in an email from the National Security Advisor to the entire intelligence senior ranks on the last day of the Obama administration, instructing them essentially, do not cooperate with the incoming president, do not cooperate with the incoming team on questions of Russia. That is unprecedented. And Rod Rosenstein bears a lot of responsibility for being there, being complicit in this wrongful targeting, and I expect to see very vigorous questioning tomorrow with Mr. Rosenstein, and we need to bring every one of them in to testify in front of the Judiciary Committee. I hope this is the first of many, because the American people deserve to know the truth here.
And you're forecasting what could be coming down the pike, and we appreciate that look ahead as well. Senator Cruz, please come back when you can. Thank you.
Always a pleasure. Thank you, Harris.